So Paul's here, and I'm just out to tell you about a couple of items that I've just picked up that fit an interest and fit a need, and actually will allow for a lot of uses in today's more connected, electrified society. Two of the items that I have here is a Bluetti electric power station. It's called a portable power station or a solar generator. And then I also picked up a folding briefcase electrical panel, 120 watts by Elecaentra. I'm sure I pronounced that and butchered that name wrong. But anyway, I'm going to show you these two items and show you how the two of these can work to provide a little bit of backup power for you when you need it. If you lose power, or if you're going camping, or if you're going to the beach, or if you just need to use solar additional power on a job site. Anyway, first thing that we'll talk about is the Bluetti. This is the 50S. It's made by Bluetti, and this item right here is a portable power station. On the back, I'll start with the back. The back is the easiest. On the back, it's got a light back here, and you can have it on high power, and this will completely light up a room or a tent. Low power, and then there's an SOS feature. And in the back here is where you're going to plug your solar power panel into, or your cigarette lighter plug, or your AC outlet in here to charge this battery. And then once it's powered, you can just basically pick this up and take this with you wherever you need to go. Is inside, it's got 500 watt hours of battery storage capability. You probably won't get full 500. Usually they store 10% of that to protect the battery. With this battery, you can have 300 watts of output continuous power on AC. You can have a 3 amps output power on 4 USB ports, 12 volts at 10 amps output power for the cigarette lighter. And that's actually what I'm going to use this for, is I'm going to use this for field day operations using an amateur ham radio. And I'm going to do a video later on how that works. You've got a couple of plugs to plug in 12-volt devices. Now, this is regulated at 13.7 volts, and it'll deliver a continuous 13.7 volts. These are not regulated, so the voltage will vary on these two ports as the battery health maintains. So if the battery's fully charged, you'll get 12 volts out of it. As the battery dims, you might get 11, 10, lower voltage on that. A lot of items that you'd plug into here, you could plug in like lights, maybe fans and stuff like that, but things that wouldn't be bothered by lower voltage. And then on top, you have a battery charger for your phone, a wireless charger. So anyway, I've just stuck my phone on here. So when you first get this item, you're just going to basically turn it on. You press and hold the button for a couple seconds. Right there, you see that the battery is at 80%, at least 80% charge. It has 5 segments of battery power. So 20%. If it's 0, you've got if there's nothing there, you got between 0 and 20%. If it's you've got one item, you've got at least 20%, at least 40%, 50%. So I'm between 80 and 100% battery right now. This display right here shows that there's no watts that are coming in. There is no watts of DC power going out, which means no watts going out on those plugs, and the wireless charger on top. And then on here, no wattage of AC is going out. I've actually got DC and AC turned off. The first thing I'll show you is I will actually throw my cell phone on here and go ahead and throw it in the wireless charger. So let me press and hold in the DC button, and let me stick the phone on there. I heard it make its little tone saying it's charging, and let's see what happens. All right, it's charging at 5, 6, 7 watts of power. It charges at a maximum of 10 watts output power. We've gone up to 8. That's going to vary by the phone manufacturer, the battery health, and exactly how much, but we've got a full 10 watts of charging on the phone. Now let's connect what you can connect to this. You can use this for many different items. Like I said before, I'm going to use this with a ham radio, connected to the cigarette lighter. But there's a lot of other DC items that you can use. I've got this USB fan. We plug the USB fan in. And now this USB fan is actually made for greenhouses, and it has a backup battery in it already, which is kind of nice because you can take this and just use this for quick cooling down. But there are many manufacturers that make fans that basically use USB. You're just going to charge that in. You're going to plug that in there. And let's put that on there. Let's see what we can get out of that. Let's put it on high. It'll probably eat off the battery for, I mean, it'll probably use up its own battery before it'll start charging from the, oh, nope, it's pulling a few watts out of there. And anyway, that's going to be useful for your household tools. Now, where you can also use this, you can use this as in the construction field or around the house where you need power. I've got some RIDGID power tools that are basically battery powered. But anyway, let me turn this on. Let me real quickly turn on the AC. Alright, and let's charge the battery to this impact wrench. Oh wow, we're going up. We're going to charge that with 98 watts. So we're running 98 watts off that battery right now. 98 watts in AC, 4 watts in DC. But we're using the AC part of that. I've heard the fan kick on. All right, and then let's actually use a real heavy-duty power tool here. I got a Black & Decker jigsaw. And we took it up past 300 watts for a brief second. It did not trip, but it will trip if you take it beyond 300 watts. But you can see that you can use this. It was pulling about 200 watts by itself out there. So you would get, you would get a good hour and a half of jigsaw use out there without having to pull an extension cord out and running it if you needed to run this somewhere where you didn't have electrical power. But anyway, these are the uses that you can use with it. You can plug in any cigarette lighter device as long as it doesn't go above 10 amps. Anyway, let me press the button again, and we're still drawing 101 watts, charging this RIDGID battery for the impact grill, and running the fan. Let's say it's really hot today. I actually was just doing this a few minutes ago out here on the back porch. Really warm out here today. The small fan just wasn't getting it. $175 watts. This will work for about 2 to 3 hours and running and keep you cool. Anyway, it's a real nice device for being able to provide yourself with power portably wherever you need it. Now, one of the biggest things that I really like is that a lot of devices now are coming out that are not AC related, but they'll actually run off USB ports. And I would like to see more of those devices come out. There's lots of waste when you've actually got your power AC inverter on. It does use electricity to actually run the inverter, even if nothing's getting drawn from it. This is a pure sine wave inverter, which means that it maintains a continuous sine wave, does not have a lot of noise on it. And anyway, so anyway, now that you see what you use it for, let me real quickly do a real quick showing of what parts comes with the item. Okay, so what comes with the Bluetti portable power station? Anyway, inside this box, this is the box that it comes with it. This box comes, of course, with the Bluetti itself. And inside the box, you get, this is a AC brick, which will allow you to connect this to the AC outlet. Now, one thing is that this Bluetti can charge up to 120 watts at a time. So the power adapter, I actually have never connected it. I think it will deliver about 80 watts, I think, if I remember correctly. But anyway, you just plug this into the outlet and charge this just like you charge your cell phone or your laptop and everything else. There's a little light that comes on that tells you that it's working. And then it comes with a cigarette lighter cord, just like the other item there. Anyway, the AC outlet, you'll just plug it into the back, plug it into the wall, and it'll charge up. Let's go ahead and plug it in and let's see what kind of charging we're going to get out of it. All right, I've plugged it into the outlet. I got the green light. Let's plug it in on this side. And let's see. All right, we are charging at 85 watts off the AC power. We've got a little red light here. And the light, I believe, turns green when it's fully charged. But the wattage varies a little bit between the upper 70s and the middle 80s. But that's pretty good. The maximum they allow you to charge it is 120 watts. I believe that's for battery health. Anyway, the next item you can use to charge this up is a cigarette lighter cable, and you can charge it from your car. Now, I would not leave this plugged into your car, even if you have a continuous cigarette lighter output, because you don't want to drain the battery on your car. Not saying that you definitely would, but the other thing about it is this is designed to charge at above 12 volts. So the only way it's really going to charge is if it's running off of the car while it's running off the alternator, when you got 13 volts more volts to charge with. So if you're going on a trip more than basically a few hours, like 4 or 5 or 6 hours, you could plug this into your cigarette lighter, use it while you're driving down there, and charge it on your journey to your camping trip, on your journey from your camping trip, or on your journey to the work site. And then finally, the final input that they have for power are these MC solar connections. These plug into connections on most of the standard solar panels. You've got a positive and negative. And again, just like all the other cables, you'll just plug this into the back and it'll charge. Anyway, let me take it out back and let me connect it to a solar panel, and we will see what we got there. Well, it's roughly 5:30 in the afternoon, and I've got it plugged into the solar panel on top of the greenhouse here. It's a 100-watt panel, and it's generating about 63 watts. So it's doing a pretty good job off of a 100-watt solar panel. Now let me connect the folding briefcase solar panel, and let's see what it does. Murphy's Law always says it. As soon as you get something set up and you plan to do something, anyway, your plans change. But our sun went behind that big cloud up there, and so it's only producing now. Let's see what it's producing now. Let's see, it got up to about 60. It's doing 12 watts now. So, but anyway, I have seen it up. I did ham radio test and doing the ham radio test, I got up to 112 watts in pure sunshine. Okay, as you can see, I've got the solar panels laid out here. Anyway, it's got the feet that are on the back. I need to turn it a little bit that way. Point it to the sun. I may actually have the angle set up a little bit higher, but we'll look at that real quick. Anyway, in here, I'm generating, according to this right here, I'm generating 95 watts, 96 watts. I don't know if you can see that. So that's actually very good. In fact, it's enough wattage that the fan needs to come on to keep the unit cool. One thing I would not recommend, and it's kind of funny, I haven't heard really only one person say this, but you want to keep this device outside the sun. You don't want it to get too hot. You don't want to kind of get this display to fade or anything like that. So I always just stick it underneath the solar panel so that it can go. But as you can see, I've got the power connector plugged into the back. We're inputting the power. We've got everything off, although we really actually could connect some devices and charge them and run them while we're doing that. Do we get any more? And we're at 96 watts here. The sun went below the clouds just a little bit, but it looks like that's probably going to be about 97 watts. That's going to be about what we get. But really, honestly, solar panels, from what I've seen, you get about 50% of the wattage output that they basically state they give. So considering this is a 120 watt panel to be delivering 97 watts, that's actually very good. Anyway, at this rate here, 2 hours, it'll be charged up at 100%. Although I'm gonna basically play on the ham radio, so we probably may end up with a deficit by the time it's done. Anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the notes below. I'll actually put a serial number and a link to the products that I have. But anyway, you know, so far I've had this for about 2 to 3 weeks, and I really like it, and look forward to actually being able to use it on a semi-regular basis. And definitely it'll be useful if the need ever arises where electricity goes out due to a storm or some type of cyber attack or anything like that. I won't be 100% prepared. I won't be able to hold the house up and run the AC and the air conditioning and the freezers and refrigerators, but I'm one step closer to being a little bit sufficient. Anyway, if you like this video, click like, share it, and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos on this.